Okay, so we live in this super high-tech world, right? We've got smartphones that are basically supercomputers and cars that can drive themselves. But one of our most common everyday rituals is, well, it's pretty much stuck in the past. Today, we're going to look at a totally radical, nature-inspired idea for the bathroom, powered by pollen and seaweed. Let's get into it.
I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. Our whole world has changed, but the way we handle personal hygiene in the bathroom, it hasn't really changed in over 100 years. It's basically paper or water. And as it turns out, both of those options have some pretty serious downsides.
Let's just take the bidet, for example. A lot of us think of it as the modern, super hygienic choice. But what's the hidden cost? Well, a single wash can use up to 2 liters of fresh, clean water. That adds up incredibly fast, especially in a world where water is becoming more and more precious. Okay, but what if I told you there's a concept for a system that could do this same job with less than 50 milliliters of water? That is less water than you'd find in a single shot glass. And get this, it uses 0 paper. This is the wild idea we're breaking down today, and it comes straight from a pretty fascinating engineering paper. So when you really look at it, our current routine is fundamentally broken. Creating toilet paper chews through millions of trees and uses massive amounts of energy. And on the flip side, bidets use a shocking amount of fresh water and require plumbing that, let's be honest, just isn't available everywhere. You gotta think there's a better way. And this is where it gets really, really cool. The proposed solution doesn't come from some sterile high-tech lab. Nope, it comes from 2 of the most surprising sources you could possibly imagine: the microscopic shell of a pollen grain and a simple gel you can get from seaweed. Let's start with the pollen. The magic here is a substance called sporopollenin. It's the incredibly tough outer shell, kind of like the armor of a pollen grain. But here's the genius part. Once you chemically remove the allergenic proteins from inside, the shell becomes this completely harmless and super absorbent little microsponge. All right, so the second key ingredient is alginate. This is a natural polymer that's extracted from brown seaweed. It's an amazing gelling substance that's perfect for creating soft, gentle hydrogels that are totally fine for skin contact. Just think of it as nature's skin-friendly binder. So using these 2 natural ingredients, the concept paper lays out 2 possible paths forward. First up is path A. They call it the micro sponge puff, and it's a single-use, fully compostable option designed to be as simple and efficient as possible. Here's how it would work. You'd start with a small, dry pellet, you wet it with just a tiny bit of water, and it instantly swells up into a soft, palm-sized puff. After you use it, you just drop it in the toilet where it's designed to completely and safely disintegrate and just wash away. Simple as that. Now this gets to the heart of the whole idea's efficiency. The pollen shell material is designed to absorb at least 10 times its own dry weight in water. That massive absorption in such a tiny package is the secret sauce. It's why you need so little water in the first place. So that's path A, the simple, disposable puff. But the concept also proposes a more advanced, reusable system for a true zero-waste solution. Let's take a look at path B and see how it builds on these same core ideas. And this is path B, the bioshell. Now, this is a whole different approach. It's a reusable, handheld tool that would live in your bathroom and come with its own little high-tech docking and cleaning station. This is basically the buy-it-for-life version of the concept. You know, the absolute best way to think about the docking station is like a miniature, super high-efficiency car wash, but for your hygiene tool. After each use, you just place the shell in the dock and it runs a fully automated, ultra-low water cleaning cycle all by itself. And we are not talking about a simple rinse here. The proposed cycle is incredibly thorough. It uses a high-pressure jet, an enzyme rinse to break down any residues, a mild acidic rinse, and then a final drying phase with UV light and warm air to make sure it's perfectly clean and sanitized for the next use. So this is the payoff. When you actually compare the water usage, the results are just staggering. A standard bidet can use up to 2 liters. That's 2,000 milliliters. The bioshell system? Its target is less than 50 milliliters per use. The savings are absolutely massive. But the vision for the bioshell goes even further than just cleaning. The concept paper actually proposes evolving it from a simple hygiene tool into a personal wellness device that could give you daily health feedback. I mean, what if this simple daily act could provide a quick snapshot of your body's chemistry? This is where the concept moves beyond just being clever engineering and into the realm of science fiction being made real. And this would be done with a replaceable 3-layer disc inside the shell. So the top layer is that absorbent pollen alginate sponge. Below that, there's a layer that's infused with dry probiotics to help maintain a healthy skin pH. And the bottom layer is a textile that actually changes color to give you an instant pH reading.
Of course, an idea this radical is going to face some pretty big hurdles. And to its credit, the concept paper addresses them head-on, which really proves this is a serious engineering proposal, not just some fantasy.
And here's the most obvious question, right? It's the elephant in the room. If it's made from pollen, what about people with allergies? It's the first thing everyone would ask, and it's a critical safety concern.
The solution they propose is twofold, and honestly, pretty reassuring. First, a chemical process removes all those allergenic proteins, leaving behind only the inert shell, and then each batch would be tested for safety. And second, for complete peace of mind, a pollen-free version made just from the seaweed alginate is also planned.
And this isn't just an idea floating around on paper. The authors laid out a practical 6-month pilot program. It would move from initial lab tests for things like absorption and flushability right through to in-home field trials with hundreds of real users to get their feedback.
This quote from the paper's abstract really just sums up the whole mission perfectly. It's not about replacing what works for everyone. It's about creating a powerful new alternative for situations where water is precious or plumbing is a challenge without having to sacrifice comfort or safety.
This whole thing is a complete reimagining of an everyday object. And it makes you wonder, what other part of our daily lives is just sitting there, ready for its own radical, nature-inspired redesign? Thanks for tuning in for this explainer.